Well, hello there.
Hello, Amy. How's it going?
Good.
What are we
How the
doing over here?
turntables have turned, Biggie.
Right. What are we doing here? Where am I?
I know. It feels so weird because this is like such a weird full circle moment of a podcast that you were instrumental in making a success and that I now co-host TDC. You just do your own podcast and live your own life and have
Correct.
great experiences that you document through a podcast that I actually help you with.
Adventures, you might say, even.
Yes,
E-ventures, you might say.
ventures that Eric goes on, and it kinda started with, him touring around the country and doing stand-up comedy, and then went into, his experiences working on Mackinac Island for the last couple of years, and, mainly we've been doing Patreon episodes lately, and some people last night in the TDC chat, like, Making Law Simple, David Helm,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was asking
Very
about
familiar.
you and he's like, "What channel does he stream on?" So I was like, "You know what? Let's just do," because we had a show today planned anyway.
Right, right.
So I said, "Why don't we just stream it to the TDC channel so people can see you again, people can know where to find you, and we'll
Yeah,
just do
yeah.
our show here this week."
For sure. I am, by the way, this is a weird way to start. One, I feel like a really bad situation wearing my Piston hat here because it's so awesome that they've been on this drive. Uh,
Dude, so
but
awesome.
But the absolute cynical fan in me is like, I'm happy this game tonight. They play Boston, 5 o'clock on ESPN, right? For example. Why
Yes.
does this have to why does this have to be the game on ESPN? Because you're gonna lose eventually.
I know. I
Like,
know. It's gonna
does
be
the
the one
streak
on national TV.
right? Does the streak have to end tonight on ESPN?
Are
Can't
they
it be
in the
like
tournament still? Are they still doing that?
I don't know exactly with that.
Okay.
And the other thing I'll say is I was saying to my sister about this, I'm shamelessly wearing my Fort Mackinac hoodie. I've gotten to a point where I think almost everything I wear is Mackinac Island. It
Yeah.
seems like, so that's kind of crazy. Hey, thank you for welcoming me here, Amy, on the my old home, I suppose, of
Yes.
the TDC. What a weird thing that you have now taken the reins
I know. It's
and
kinda
ran with
weird.
it.
Kinda
Uh,
weird. I'm
and
having fun, though. The
yeah,
listeners have been nice for the
I think
most
it's
part.
great. I think
Yeah,
it
it's been
well,
good.
I mean, that's how that goes.
Yeah.
You talk long enough on a mic, and they're eventually like, they'll love you at first. No, like at first it's gonna be awesome for almost everybody.
Yeah,
You know, T Roy would have experienced this. Like at first,
for
people
sure.
fucking love T Roy, you know, and then at some point you talk enough, and you're gonna give some opinion that someone doesn't like or
Yeah,
something, and now that the honeymoon will wear off,
for
and
sure.
mostly they'll still like you, but like
Yeah.
at some point.
But, yeah, I'll just pop off on people right back, so,
I
you know.
I saw I was watching one time. I believe I was watching one time when you were really just railing on somebody. I feel like
Was it
or
a
some.
listener?
I think so. I don't listen all the time, but I do. I do check it. It pops up on my notifications, and I really like the beginning of the episodes. Are my favorite for
Yeah,
whatever. I like the back and forth and hearing what you guys have been doing.
yeah.
And then Mike already knows this. Once it gets into a little more political side, I
Tend to
get a
tune
little
out. So
get
does
a
my
little
mom. She'll
what do you
text
call
me, she'll be like, "Logging off now."
dreamweavering, to use Drew's
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
phrase. So here we are we're gonna kind of do an e-venture cast. I know we are using a different live outlet here, but Amy has been doing this, and actually it is fitting that this is almost a great time to do this, because one of the first things I wanted to bring up, and I was going to bring this up whether we had done this on these other platforms or not, was we were about a week or so away from when from 4 years ago when we recorded the very first, then the Big E comedy venture, now the E Venture cast.
What?
4 years. December 6th is when it aired, when I put it out into the world on Spotify and iTunes.
We've been doing
But
this
like
for
we would have
4 years?
4 years, December 6th.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I mean, to think,
I would have
like,
said 3. 4 surprises me.
can you believe you've been doing a podcast with me for 4 years?
No. And, like, consistently too, like, we take some
Yeah.
breaks in the summer or whatever, but, I mean, every 2 weeks, we've been doing this for
Right.
I guess
And
4
really,
years.
it was weekly for
It
a
was
while. And then
weekly at first, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so I listen when you think back to this, it all started with dog sitting for Migs and Diesel,
Yeah.
her dogs, and of course the obvious back then, your wedding on Mackinac Island, which circles back to the whole fucking thing in a lot of ways.
I know, it's
Like
crazy.
you got married on Mackinac Island, which is really when you were really first introduced to the TDC world.
Yeah, you guys were ripping my website, my wedding
Yeah,
website, which
your
deserved it.
husband's your husband's fake name. The idea that
Yes.
you were getting married to Rocky, a
I
standard blonde chick, getting
I had
married
an
to Rocky on
I
Mackinac
had an
Island.
all-white wedding party, but we had a token Asian groomsman.
Correct.
Um, it was so funny. God, that bit was so funny.
And then I started dog sitting. Well, actually, before that, and we still disagree on this. You gave me the infamous gummy,
I did.
and I still believe that you told me to take one. I know. I felt like you
So
said
ridiculous.
I thought you said take one gummy, but remember it takes 45 minutes or so to fit in. So don't take more. But I guess you said take a leg,
Yeah, I said to take half, see how you
half of it.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe if I had not had that terrible experience with the gummy, that I might have got into gummies at some point, but I've
Mhm.
never been able to trust it since. And like I've had a few other times where I've tried like edibles and like it's fun for maybe a few minutes and then I just get very paranoid that it's not going to go away and if
Mhm.
something's going to happen and I'm going to be like this forever or something's going to worse, you know?
If you genuinely were interested, now that it's so popular, you should just walk into a dispensary.
Yeah, yeah.
The people who work there are so, like, chill, and
Yeah,
you
but
can just be like, what do I take? How many milligrams?" And they'll be able to
though, I this was a little bit a few years ago. When I was back home for the summer. It was that time I broke my shoulder. I went with some friends to a wrestling show, and I didn't take that much. I took it like a little bit before we left the house, and we got to Detroit, and it was feeling a little okay. And then like within a little bit, I was just like paranoid, and I think
Mhm.
my anxiety is too much for it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have I have
Could be.
anxiety, and I have major control issues.
Yeah,
I'm a control
yeah.
freak in a lot of ways in reality.
They wanna know how
So
many milligrams you took. If I had to guess, I would say that each individual piece was probably 50 milligrams,
it took me 2 days to get over it.
if I had to guess.
It took me 2 days
Yeah, that was
to get over that.
I had Jay messaging me like, "Is he gonna die?" I'm like, "No, he's not gonna die. He'll be
Yeah,
fine."
no, it didn't feel. It felt like it. I just remember I had to work at Zot the next day, and I was supposed to be there at 7 in the morning, and I stayed at Mike's, and I stayed up kind of in the upper level in a room. T-Roy wasn't there yet. That's where Troy would have stayed. And I just tried to start walking down the little stairs, and I couldn't even make it to the couch almost. Like I was like, I started walking down those stairs and I said, if I can get to the couch, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I laid
man,
on
I
that
know that.
couch.
I know that feeling. It really is the worst. You really do feel like you're gonna die. You're like, "I'm obviously dying."
Right. So Amy gave me the gummy. Then I started watching her dogs. And then at some point we started really talking more often, and then eventually I needed someone to co-host on my podcast, and I thought, why not? For the same reason Mike would
Yeah.
choose you in a lot of ways. No, that's not why. We had really good chemistry, and I needed
Yeah, we did.
somebody, and I needed somebody
Well,
also that would rein
you
me in.
started talking to me a little bit about your comedy, and I would kinda read some things, and I'd maybe make suggestions and helped you, like, with some writing a
That's
little
true.
bit,
That's true.
and
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that at that point, you maybe realized, "Okay, she's
That is
actually
true.
kind of maybe sort of funny,"
You were funny.
or
You are funny, I will say.
"Well, thank you, Jesus."
I forgot about that. Yeah, I was starting sending her jokes that I was gonna write for opinion on a joke, but also just a word. Now I could just use ChatGPT now if I wanted to. But no, but I
Yeah.
started writing those jokes. And then you also helped me with my sister's officiant ceremony.
Yep.
Big time. Like
Oh, yeah.
big time helped
Yep.
me with which is the template I now just use for the other ones I've kind of done.
Oh my
It's
god,
just
that's funny.
So
Yeah,
I
so
kind
we
of
like bonded over that, and
yeah. And so
I
4 years
think you
ago,
realized, okay, she's not just some like blonde that that I want to hate.
yeah,
Like she actually has some redeemable qualities.
for sure. And then yeah, and then we ended up started doing this.
4
Like I said,
years
the
is
then
crazy though.
4 years ago, we started doing the Big E Comedy Venture podcast, travel around the country, did the comedy thing, came back. I had no idea what I was going to do next. I remember we were going to I was either going to end the podcast because we kind of kept it going a little bit when I got back and we recorded them at mics here and there.
Yeah.
But like, I knew that I wasn't just going to keep doing that. I think I'm funny. I think you're funny and stuff like that. But there's a billion podcasts out there of some guy and a girl just talking about the stuff, life.
Right,
I did
right.
this yesterday. I'm like, I'm not good enough that if I don't have an anchor to it, I don't think it would work. And so, yeah, did Mackinac Island. I've worked on Mackinac Island. If people have not been aware of this, I've been working on Mackinac Island the last 3 years. And now this year, the eVenture cast is moving on overseas in end of May. I'll be going to 9 weeks over to Europe while attempting to do comedy over in Europe and seeing how that
That's
goes,
so cool.
I guess.
That's so cool. So yeah, just as a recap, you did comedy in all 50 states.
49.
That was 49. That was but we say 50. That was the
Right.
first leg of that was the first season. And then you did 3 seasons in Mackinac, which we refer to as your freshman, sophomore, and junior years of college.
And I think that a junior going into a senior, it'd be very likely that you might do some studying abroad.
He's taking a gap year to study abroad.
Right. While kind of keeping in touch with your classmates.
Yes.
And then finishing it off the year after that, right?
Exactly.
Like, that would make sense.
So he's taking a year off between junior and senior year to go abroad, do comedy over there. We're going to document it. And then E will be back for his senior year on Mackinac Island.
If you word it like that and we had that plan, it actually sounds like legit. Like, okay.
I know.
I know. He did this comedy thing. That was his gap year between high school.
Right.
Then he went to college. Right. Now he's learned a little bit. He's going to go overseas. A lot of people do study abroad for a period of time.
Right.
And then
it just happened 20 years after it was supposed to, which is fine.
What are you going to do?
Which is totally fine.
What are you going to do? So yeah, I do want to get in. I do want to do some. Do you think that's? I don't.
Yeah, no. I think that's a. Yeah, where do people find you?
This? If people are interested in hearing some more of these stories, and we can, I'm going to get into the Patreon thing in a little bit because I'd rather get into the episode before I start doing the monkey dance. But if people that haven't been familiar with what's been going on with this, and Mackinac Island to me is incredible. If you've ever wanted a more inside view of what it's like to live and work on Mackinac Island, that's it. So to go to the eVenture cast, I'm on Spotify, iTunes, other podcasting apps, but those are like the big ones in reality. And yeah, why don't we just grift right away and then we'll get into some stories. I think we've done enough that I don't have to go. I'm not going to plead too much, but I'll just throw this out there. We do have a Patreon page. There we go. We do have a Patreon page. And so $5 a month is like, you get a sticker, you get an eVenture cast sticker with my logo there. You also get the extra content, which by the way, at this point is about 315 different audio and video clips of me working on the island, living on the island. I am starting to put other stuff in there too. I do stuff when I'm back home. I'm working on a current project where I'm going to be documenting this dream I've had to be creative for my living. There will be a YouTube series next year, but if you want, you can join now. And I'm putting raw footage of that, me messing up with a teleprompter that I've been working with. I put like kind of behind the scenes of how that's all working. There's so much videos. If you like seeing horses, I have so much horse proops videos.
So many Roops videos.
Yeah. So anyway, $5, you get the sticker, you get all the extra content. $10.
Apparently you get what, like 4 years worth of
a shitload of
shows,
content,
basically.
Yeah, there's bonus episodes, there's videos. I'm going to be, of course, when I'm over in Europe, I'm going to be doing lots of stuff like that as well. $10 a month. You can get a koozie, an eVenture cast koozie. And also, if people didn't know, I became an award-winning photographer over the summer.
This is legitimate. This is
Yeah, yeah.
legitimate. He actually took a photo during his sophomore year on the island.
It doesn't come
And
out the greatest in the webcam, but you can go on my face.
so
you can see
it's from the fort, right? Like
Yeah.
looking out over
That's
the water
Fort
and
St. Anne's,
Mackinac.
or Fort Street and the Trinity Church.
So he took this photo during his sophomore year of Mackinac, and going into his junior year, entered it into like this contest, right?
Yes, correct.
And how many people got picked?
Of about 120 entrants, 20 got picked to go be on display in the museum throughout the summer.
Okay, so 120 entrants, and he's in the top 20. He had that photo, and it was so funny. There's definitely an episode about this where we talk about you getting this framed, because he had to like get it framed and so it could hang in this museum the entire summer. And you know,
trying to be cheap, really.
Exactly. So we definitely have an episode on that, which was fucking hilarious. But okay, so it was hanging in this museum all summer.
Yes.
And then what?
There's a juried art contest. And so some jury that, art's fine. We get it. It's so subjective. So it comes down to one person and her opinion. But the theme was iconic Mackinac. And out of the 20 that get picked, 6 eventually get some level of award. There's first, second, and third. And then there's first, second, and third honorary mention. And I got second honorary mention with this. Oh, not that photo, but that's a really good photo too. But with the view of the fort, which was
awesome.
Crazy.
That's really cool. I mean, this is a photo he literally took with his phone. Okay.
Yeah.
And ended up getting it, printed and framed, and it was hanging in this museum the entire summer, and ended up coming in essentially, I guess I would say, 5th place out of 120 entrants. Is pretty gosh darn good. And someone bought it.
And someone bought it. I'm so
for how much?
$250. Yeah.
$250.
So I made
a legitimate art dealer. Like he has sold art.
That's like, that's crazy. So the thing about it
is, this is the same Big E that you knew from the past, where we're talking about the same person.
The thing about that that's interesting is, like, I've actually always been into photography. I literally took a photography class in graphic art. I learned how to use a darkroom way back in high school.
Oh wow!
At Lakeland, and I took 2 classes at Oakland Community College where one of them was you have in the class you always have to have a portfolio at the end where you do a theme, and I did barns. I drove around the county and took pictures of barns. But my point is, like, I've been into photography for a long time. I think it took until the trip before I started really focusing on it as a thing that maybe I could get better at. So if you join for $10 a month, you get a koozie, and you get to pick anyone, by the way, but you get a 8 by 10, I guess usually people get photo of anything I've done. Technically, most people would probably choose the island. This one's really dope from this year, by the way. I took this one of the Round Island Lighthouse. So you get an 8 by 10 photo. You can actually choose ones. I have ones from my trip even. This one was cool from for example, from
oh, nice. Where's that at?
This was from Quartzsite, Arizona. Believe it or not. I know. So anyway, I got a bunch of photos. You get if you get $10 a month, you get a koozie and an 8 by 10 from an award-winning photographer. All right. I think there's a crap load of content in there, and I would appreciate it if people wanted to check it out. Okay,
and you can find it at patreon.com/eventurecast. Is that where you find? Just type in eventurecast.
Yeah, correct. On patreon.com/eventurecast, I guess, or search eventurecast. You certainly can reach out to me if you really 248-935-9241 is my cell phone number. So if you really want to give me money, you don't even have to become a member. You can just give me money.
Exactly. It's crazy because we've ever since Triple G joined the show.
Which is, what's funny about that, real quick? He was like a hero of mine growing up.
Oh, really?
He used to work with, it was great, Jamie and Greg in the morning on WDFN.
Yeah.
And I would listen to them before I listened to Drew and Mike, because I didn't know who Drew and Mike was until I met Chubbs. Chubbs from Cross Country is how I found Drew and Mike. So I did not start listening to Drew and Mike until my sophomore year of high school. So before that, I never listened to anything. I listened to sports radio in the morning. And DFN was really like super new and edgy when Triple G was on there. Like that's when they were like the big like edgy station that was new compared to like because 97.1 used to be WXYT on the AM station. Now this is going radio nerd, but they used to be 1270. And that was what 97.1 was until they took over FM and became a full radio station. But I would listen to Triple G on Jamie and Greg in the morning. Got, R.I.P. Jamie, man, for sure.
Yeah.
And I even had one of their, like how people love Drew and Mike's, and they've had the Cliff Notes Theater CD or the blah 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 CD. Greg had a CD. They had a CD. I forget what it was, Parody and Poops, I think it was called, or something like that. And it was one with Jamie and Greg in the morning from DFN, and I had a CD that I bought from Harmony House, probably.
Wow, that's so crazy,
isn't that so? And now you're working with them on this podcast, which is I'm not trying to make it you.
No, it's wild though.
But like, it is a thing that that it's weird that you're working with this person that I also listened to growing up. So the two people you work with were two of my radio people I was in.
Yeah, it's so funny.
What were you gonna say originally?
Well, I was gonna say, he's a good grifter. Greg is a good grifter. I will give him that. And we've gotten into this super chat game, which I know, they take part of it or whatever, but it's nice to get some super chats every once in a while. So, if you want to just Venmo Big E, you don't always, sometimes people just feel generous. So
I did make my Venmo pretty easy, just eVentureCast.
Feeling friendly, send you a nice little Venmo.
Anyway, I don't want to do too much. I really appreciate it.
What's on the agenda for today?
A lot of shilling there. I appreciate. Having said that, it is what I'm trying to do here. I think, like, luckily I've had, by the way, a few people that are either members have commented, or one person did anyway, and said that they are a Patreon and they've really enjoyed the content. So I appreciate that. I try to put stuff up there regularly. I'm literally tomorrow when I go on Thanksgiving. I filmed a few of these episodes for this YouTube series, but one of the episodes is going to involve me doing something outside of Oakland Community College. And I thought tomorrow would be the best day because no one's going to be there. So I will have, like, for example, tomorrow, something will end up in the Patreon, whether it's be bloopers from me attempting to use the teleprompter, or just some sort of background of like, hey, this is where I'm filming it. I'm trying to put as much in there for people that, if you're joining it, there is a lot in there. Like I said, 315 audio and video clips. So anyway, all right. For one, by the way, Amy, can I tell you about how I kicked a 3-year-old girl's ass in bowling yesterday?
Hell yeah.
Just dominated Kayla. I got to be honest.
Did she use the bumpers?
Yeah, she did. So, she had to use the bumpers and a roll. So you think she had quite a benefit there.
She had quite the advantage.
And yet, Uncle E still kind of dominated.
And I know that you didn't take it easy on her at all.
Oh, no. Okay. So the only thing I did do, I was certainly trying to bowl. Like, and when I got back, I let Mark and Lauren know that I did win. But I actually had a pretty good game, which is funny. I bowled like a 146, which is pretty decent. I had a few strikes even in there. And so I will say this. I was not like rubbing it. She didn't even know she was losing or winning, by the way. It was her first.
Knew.
I knew. I didn't by any means like sit there and like fist pump strikes or anything, but I did have to hold back a few times where like I thought I was going to get a spare and I didn't. And I was kind of like, oh, okay.
And hell yeah.
Right. No, there was a little bit of like, but it was crazy. Like that's her first time bowling.
Aww.
She got little shoes.
The little bowling shoes.
Oh my god, dude, Amy. And so for people that don't know, I'm gonna add for some.
Oh yeah, E's become a big softie, by the way.
Yeah, I don't want to talk like no one's ever heard me before, but I know some of these people have not listened, and that's okay. But they've not listened to eVentureCast or heard me necessarily talking about this stuff. And Facebook in general, I've gotten even off. I'm getting more and more off Facebook myself. So I know that not everyone sees things I post, but we don't have to go too down the line. But yes, I have a niece. I'm obsessed with her. And now all of a sudden I freaking get all the bullshit about
he told talk about kids. So the guy who went from, why do you have your own kids? There's a million out there to adopt. You're not that special to have to pass your seed along and yada, yada. Your kid's not any more special than the other one that's down the street. He now has a niece and he's
you always hear celebrities. well, you'll hear celebrities say sometimes, and I'm not putting myself in that category, but as a person who's, for example, I'm not going to say failed, but I've been working all this time at maybe trying to do stand-up comedy or maybe trying to do whatever, and these things that have, whatever along the way, and it's so corny, but like when I go bowling with Kaylee, for example, like she doesn't give a fuck or know that I've maybe failed at being a comic or any of that shit. She when I get there to my sister's, she just sees me and she says Uncle E, and she runs and says hi, and then we do things together. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't give a fuck about any of that stuff, and that's very nice. I can understand where people would get that. So I beat her in bowling yesterday. That's big time.
Beat that thing in bowling.
Beat that chick in bowling yesterday. I saw a movie with my parents, and I have a question for you, Amy. It's called Rental Family. I don't know if you've heard of it at all.
Yeah, I feel like who's in that?
Brendan Fraser.
I did see a preview for that.
Brendan Fraser, by the way, it's funny when actors think about that. He was like Biodome.
Yeah, Blast from the Past.
Blast from the Past.
Which I watched recently, by the way, because it's on YouTube.
Blast from the Past.
It's on YouTube for free.
What was it good?
Yes. Yes, it was. And Alicia Silverstone is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, I thought it was good. It did.
No, I thought it would, but it's funny because he was kind of like a kind of a buddy comedy with a lot with Pauly Shore, right? Because Encino Man, Pauly Shore was in that.
Yep.
And Biodome, I think Brendan Fraser was in Biodome, or was that another guy?
I think he was.
But like he was these guys, and like so it's always interesting when actors, try to, and I get it, try to eventually do more serious stuff or whatever that means, and keep trying to act. And did you ever see The Whale, for example, or no? I thought it was The Whale, right?
Yeah, I did not see it, but
I loved it.
Yeah,
and I think it was called The Whale. That was Brendan Fraser, where he had
to put on a shit ton of weight,
and was in this apartment, and like that was his whole existence, and there's just a kind of a life story about him. So this one is, they don't really quite give you the background and why he's there, but he certainly had been trying to be an actor, I assume, in America, and it just wasn't working or something. All we know is that he's in Japan. He's been there for 7 years, and he's had some mild success. Like he was in a few commercials that were big. But it's not going super well. Like he's not getting a lot of roles, and he ends up finding a situation where someone wants to hire him for a role where what the deal is that they people rent people. Like an example in the movie would be maybe over there, cultural wise, it's not as accepted to be to marry for a girl to marry another girl. So like she's going to move. She's married. She's found this person she's going to marry. They're going to move to Canada, but she wants her parents to have like the wedding that would make them proud as far as the custom and tradition. So they hire him, and his role as an actor is to be her husband. Like he gets married to her. They do the ceremony, do all that. The parents are happy. Now the girl sees her girl. They're all happy, and they move, and everyone's kind of happy. So he's playing the role of these people in their life, like they're hired in as people feel like they want something in their life as like a family member or something like that.
Yeah.
And so in the movie, eventually him and a person that work at the rental family is asking him kind of like, well, what would you use? Like, what would you hire from our service? Like, who would you hire from our service if you were to do this? And he kind of says, apparently his dad had left him as a kid. We find out that his dad left him as a kid. His mom hung around, and his mom was very non-judgmental. And that, so he would like to, if he had to hire someone, he would hire a mother, I guess, or something that would be not a non-judgmental person in his life that he could talk to.
Okay.
Or something like that. Encino Man, Airheads, The Mummy. Frasier, yeah, he was in Frasier.
He's saying Brendan Fraser was not in Biodome. That was Pauly Shore and Steve Baldwin.
Steve Baldwin, that's right. Encino Man, Airheads, and The Mummy, though. Yeah, okay. But at least I got Encino Man and Airheads for sure. Yeah, Stephen Baldwin, you're right. That was who was in Biodome. So I was thinking to myself, and short of a prostitution, obviously, but who would you, would you hire someone in your life? Like if you had this service here, and I'm not trying.
Yes, I would.
Okay. I'm not trying to suggest that I'm glad you do. That I am super adjusted as a human being. I don't think anyone is really, right? But I think I'm whatever. I'm generally an okay person. I don't think I'm an overall huge narcissist. I'm kind to people, whatever, but we all have faults. And I thought, like, who would I hire? And I couldn't think of somebody in my circumstances. Like, how we talked in the last episode we did, how I'm now going to go to this wedding, and the thought that there's kind of a possible pseudo blind date situation at a wedding where a friend of a friend is hooking me up. So I'm going to go down to this wedding now and maybe sit at this table, meet this girl, both knowing that there's possibly people are trying to get us together, right? But I'm not lonely. I would like a companion, and in a perfect world, I'd be in a relationship with someone. I really would, but I'm not lonely. And so I don't have any, but I have enough good friends, and I couldn't think of somebody I would hire out right now in my life. Like if I were to go to some service.
I would hire somebody who would clean my house and cook for me.
Well, now you're just talking about a maid, though.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
I thought that's what this was.
No, like they're supposed to be like emotional things. Like people have hired in the movie, for example, there was another situation where there was this old actor. He'd been in a bunch of films as he was older, but now he's in his like whatever. He's partial dementia, got some issues, and they hire Brendan Fraser. Got Brendan Fraser on my mind now. They hire the actor to, like, his role in the rental family thing is that he's going to go and pretend he's a journalist taking down this. They think that they feel like it would give him a little purpose. He was an old actor. He started to have dementia.
Okay.
And in his world, now he's like, oh, this journalist is interested in me.
Yeah.
So there's supposed to be like emotional reasons.
I see what you're saying.
Like the runner of the company, we find out later, the guy who started and owns the company of Rental Family. These are all spoilers. If anyone wants to see Rental Family, I guess stop listening. But the owner of the Rental Family business, for example, we found out later that in one scene, he goes home, like you think, oh, he seems like a really good guy. He goes home and he has his wife and kids, and he's like, oh, how was his soccer game today? Oh, it didn't go well. And he sits down with the kid and he's like, how'd it go? Don't worry, it'll be better next time. And they sit there and eat and they all look all happy. Well, you find out later that the wife and kids are both like he's using the company himself. Like he's using two people to be actors for his wife and kid.
Weird.
I know. Do you think you'd have anywhere in your life where you would hire someone to deal with a problem you feel like you maybe have, or something emotionally you're missing out of, I guess? You know what I'm saying?
No, I can't think of anything. That's super weird.
I can't either. And like the marriage one made more sense to me. Like, hey, we're not as open to maybe a lesbian
or
situation.
I feel like Kevin Hart had a similar movie where it was like The Best Man.
Okay.
Where you like he rented out being like a best man and people who didn't have friends or whatever.
Right. And you could even go back to the one with Paul Rudd and can't think of his name right now. Seagal, or the guy from How I Met Your Mother, Siegel or something.
Oh yeah, Jason.
Yeah, and they did where Paul Rudd was essentially like he's getting married to some girl but he had no guy friends.
Right.
And then so that's kind of what we're talking about. No. You know what that is.
Ben said, can we talk politics here? No, not today. We're doing a Patreon show later for TDC, and I'm sure we'll talk about it there.
The closest I would get is I would be at some point. I finally mentioned on an episode recently that I'd met the mayor of Mackinac Island. Mackinac Island. And she's the longest US running mayor ever at like 50 years.
Wow.
And so I would be very interested in who would take over. Like there's certain political.
That's crazy.
Right. Like who would take over for her.
And what's she done?
Dude, that island is just like, what'd you say?
I said, and what's she done?
As far as the island and her policies, you mean?
Yeah, and I'm sure she's a very nice lady. And I know nothing about her. I don't even know her name. But I just tend to think that someone who's been in a job for 50 years.
Well, I think what happens is that island is. I don't get too much into it I don't get as much into the stuff on the eVenture cast, but the island is just. It's a lot. It's a real. Yes, both have big glasses on. The island is this weird place that is
the island, like Lost.
Right. It's this weird place that is a worldwide travel like Disney's a worldwide tourist destination, but a family of like small people of 500 don't live there year round, and it doesn't like kind of shut down in the
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
this place where 500 to 600 people live there year round.
Yeah.
It doesn't ever technically shut down, but it pretty much goes to nothing in the winter. And so like also for 6 months a year, for 6 to 7 months a year, it's a tourist place. And for 6 to 7, I know it's not exactly 6.5 if you want to split to make it even. It's not. And there's a school, and there's like and there's people that live there, and there's people that have lived there for years, and their grandparents have lived there.
Yeah.
So it's this weird place where there is real policy that does need to happen. It's just like any regular working city, but it's also this mega tourist situation. So like there's a tourist bureau.
She does the island and the city, right?
She is the mayor of the city of Mackinac Island. And then 80% of the island is state park land, which is run by the MHSA, I'm always say it wrong. MHSP like committee and stuff. And so there's like a back and forth that has to happen between the city of Mackinac Island and if somebody wants to get done in the state park. So it's not necessarily, she runs the city of Mackinac Island, which is like downtown Market Street. It goes up kind of to the village, what people call the village, which is like up the hill past the Grand and to where a lot of the regular people kind of live. And there's some areas on the 185, but a lot of it is state park. So it's a very interesting dynamic. And so there's only a few families. And so as far as what she done to maybe stay there, I think in this rare instance, as far as a career politician situation is, I think it's just, there's a lot of families that are like the big families of the island, and she's been there. And it's like, at this point,
that's
she'll
right
be done
for corruption.
When she's I mean,
in my opinion,
it's a whole, the island's crazy and very interesting. And if you want to hear more about it, I think I would say that'd be the time where you go to the eVenture Cast podcast and listen to back episodes, because we delve into that a little more. Yeah, anyway, it was an interesting movie. What I've really realized with the movies, Amy, is like, and it has been a while, by the way, but I've never been an action fan even since I was a kid. I don't like big action movies. I don't care about X-Men.
I'm the same way.
Popular. I like story-driven script movies that are, see, where's this 1999 go to though? I don't even.
I know. I'm gonna. Mike is gonna have to Venmo you.
Yeah. Does he have a Venmo?
He does.
Okay.
He does.
I didn't know if he was going to the bank. But
he does know how to Zelle. He knows how to Zelle because he Zelled me when NFL Bob sent me money for new internet.
Okay.
So he.
I don't know Bob's a great
thank you,
dude.
DG. This is Dustin.
I do appreciate it. I do appreciate that. So I'm way more into just like script-based movies, and stuff like that. There's another really good one I saw right now that I want to go see, and I'm hoping the movies I like don't last very long in the theaters, and I go to the theaters because I still like doing it.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I like sitting there, getting the popcorn and sitting in the chair. I like it. And there's a movie right now. I don't know the name of it, but the general idea of it was like, they died. God, you know what? I almost don't want to go too on a limb here and explain it because it's kind of cool.
Have you seen Wicked?
I have not seen Wicked. Is it good?
Yes, it's very good.
Is it a musical or is it a real movie?
It's a musical, but also a movie. And obviously it's a play. It's a musical.
Yeah.
In real life. But are you familiar with the Wizard of Oz story?
Generally, yes.
It's the prequel to the Wizard of Oz, and you find out. So
that's what Wicked is generally.
Yeah, and you find out how the Wicked Witch became wicked and why her skin is green. And you find out that the Good Witch and the Bad Witch were friends in school. And you find out the stories behind the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Lion.
Oh, so
it's something that you would like.
You got me now. So there's no reason I haven't watched Wicked, by the way. But I did think I did think that for some reason I thought it was a musical.
Well, it is. They sing songs, but there's a lot of dialogue.
But there is dialogue.
Oh yeah. There's tons of dialogue.
I know it sounds bad. I've just never been a musical fan.
I get it. You'll like. Trust me, you'll like it. Watch the first one.
Okay,
you can watch the first one at home.
What's it on? Is it on something? I think it's on Peacock, actually.
Prime, Peacock, or Disney.
I
don't
think it's
know.
on. I feel like it's on Peacock, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Here's
I
what
think
the-
you're right.
Real quick, the movie I was talking about was called Eternity, and it says, in an afterlife where souls have 1 week to decide who to spend eternity with, Joanne is faced with an impossible choice between the man she spent her life with and the first love who died young and has waited decades for her to arrive.
My God, I should have. You know what? I missed an opportunity
What do you
because
think?
when I was 16,
Yeah.
I was sitting at dinner and my
Yeah.
mom's boyfriend said, "You know, Amy, I asked your mom who she wants to hang out with in heaven, me or your dad." And I was like, who the fuck asks that? You
Yeah.
motherfucking weirdo. So
So your dad is dead. This is post.
my dad's dead.
Dad's dead. When did
My
your
mom
dad
has a
die?
boyfriend.
How old were you?
I was 6. So this is like a decade later.
Okay, so I was trying to how long after did she start dating? And how many boyfriends did you meet?
So
Ish. You don't have to
serious
remember exactly.
serious boyfriends, I can think of 4, including my stepdad.
Okay.
But you know, she would go to like singles dances. And,
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but she had one boyfriend. I'm sorry. Now I can think of 5. One boyfriend looked exactly like George Clooney. It was so
Really?
weird. It was bizarre how much
crazy.
he looked like George Clooney. But
Do
this
you
guy, I did not like, the one who asked me that question.
Okay. And do you
His name was
remember,
Bob.
like, so you're 6? Do you remember generally when you think she started, like, were you first
Oh,
met a
right.
boyfriend? Like, do you
I
think it
would
was
say 2 years later, maybe
really?
3.
What do you
She
think?
never got remarried. It was always like, they're not here to parent you. They're just here. I'm dating them. We go out, you know, maybe they're at dinner with us, but it's not like she never got remarried until we were grown and
right.
didn't want all that. But yeah,
I mean,
she was 42.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
that's your age.
Right. It's such a that is such a thing where it's like, when do you do it, and what do you know, how's that
And she always said your dad would have been remarried within a year if the situations were reversed.
Yeah, I think guys are probably worse about it, I'm guessing, generally.
Yeah.
But
what's crazy is like,
but I've known guys that have, there's guys that hold on to it. I don't know if it's a guy girl thing necessarily.
But knowing now in context how young my mom was.
Yeah.
What? Like, she's not going to just be this widow, this like sad widow for a decade during her 40s.
And I would say this is a different situation too, where it's not a divorce. It's not like he was.
Yeah, he died.
It's not like he's still around weirdly, but like, oh, and then you as a kid, like, at least maybe it'd be easier to reason with it, where it's like, it wasn't like one of them was a good or bad guy.
Yeah.
It
was just so weird when he was like, I asked your mom, like, he was jealous of a dead guy, which was so weird to me. I could not understand.
Oh, so and he was suggesting he asked his mom already, that he'd asked your mom, who would she rather spend time with?
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't think heaven works like that. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Maybe.
So that's an interesting concept. So the concept is that, yeah, as a young girl, I think I saw a trailer. I believe she had a boyfriend that she loved, first love, that went to war or something and like died.
Yeah.
And then she moved on and was married to, and in the trailer I saw there's a scene where she's kind of like, she is like, she sees the husband because she was dead. The husband finally dies, and now he's like, instantly for him, he sees her. So for his mind, it was like yesterday he was married. She's there. Hell yeah, there's my wife.
Yeah,
He's found out they're gonna get to be together, and all of a sudden this other dude starts walking up. She sees him, and she's like, "Oh shit," or something. and then he's like, "Dude, I was married to you yesterday, man. What the fuck?" And so it's kind of I think it's a cool concept.
It is an interesting concept, and it's funny you mentioned that because I can't remember who it was, but someone mentioned the other day, like the concept of someone you don't like showing up in your heaven, and you're like, hang on a second, I didn't need, like your uncle or something that you didn't like, who was super racist at Thanksgiving, and now you have to like see your uncle in heaven. You're like, I'm just trying to live here the rest of eternity in peace, and why are you here? I didn't ask for
questions. I've got a lot of questions with heaven, frankly, but like,
yeah.
I don't.
How does it all work?
There's a lot of it I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, is that how it works? Is my grandma that died a few years ago? Let's just say heaven's freaking real, and she's there. Now, I haven't done the things. I don't know what it, let's just say for some reason we've got it all wrong. That basically, as long as you're generally a good person, you're not raping or murdering people, you get to go, right? Or something. Like I've donated a little money to I've helped out, raise the money.
Yeah, you were generally a good person.
Right. I'm gonna go. So do I just pop up? And for her, it's like I've been like, is it like I've been? Is she waiting? Really?
Right.
Or does it just happen instantaneously?
Right.
And you're right.
What version of themselves are they? Are they the version of when they died? Are they the best version of themselves? Like, do I get to pick?
Life?
Like, when were you looking your best?
If you play video games, you get to pick your skin or something.
Exactly.
Like, dude,
Can you change it?
Right. I want Eric that was like mid-20s, running the marathons. Freaking like liver.
Like how am I gonna know my grandma's my grandma if she's her when she was 21? How am I gonna know?
Right. And the other thing is that the reality is, like you said about not liking people, there are people that are good people that you don't like. Yeah. And they're in heaven. So what? Where do you live? Are there neighborhoods? Like, and I'm sorry, but the thing, and I used to talk about this as a joke, and I know I'm not the only one to say this, but it is a thing I've always had of like, if we're going for a better place, that's always a comfort. They're a better place. They're better. And it's like, well, then why is like a cancer diagnosis not like a hallelujah?
It is for some people.
No, but they don't say it like that. Like they don't say to somebody, they take you in, they've done some diagnosis, you're 60. Let's say you're 60. You're not 90. Let's say you're 60. Let's say you're 50. 50 years old. You've been going to church your whole life. Oh yeah, Jesus. And they come into the office and they go, I have bad news. You have cancer. You're dying less than a year. Maybe 6 months. They should be happy, I guess, right?
I genuinely think some people, I mean, I think you mourn the fact that you're not going to be around your friends and family, but I think there are some very devout people who are like, sweet, I get to go experience what I've been living my whole life for.
Do you think there are? I hope there should be.
There definitely are.
But there's not enough people. Most people still fight it, right? They do the chemo or they travel and try to find some. But why?
I know.
Why does it matter?
Full believers.
You must have a little bit of doubt in there. I feel like that's
a good one. No, for sure.
I think that seems like a good idea for movie. Man, Amy, how much time do you have? I hate to do this to you. Are you on a crunch here?
I've got a little bit more time. Why? God, what else you got?
I really wanted to get into the person I ran into, but I feel like that's a. Let me ask. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so. Well, you know what? I'm going to save this. I'm so sorry. I'd rather talk about it longer.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. Did you at all, and it's okay if you did you at all look into, when I mentioned to you about how because you're super into crime stuff, did you at all look into the idea of the kind of weird, mysterious death of this folk singer, Todd Snyder?
Oh my God, I Googled it and I read like an article about it, but I didn't look any further into that. Fill me in, E.
Yeah, so it's not someone I only found the dude in one of my late night country music beer nights where he was doing a cover song of another person I really like, and I really enjoyed his cover song. And he generally just you could tell he had a real folksy way about him, and he told these stories. And so I started listening to more songs, and his name is Todd Snyder. A lot of people won't know who he is necessarily, but he was a real like kind of a country singer, technically folky country singer who's known for his storytelling on stage, as well as his really unwillingness to really buy into the Nashville scene, doing his own thing, very much a hippie, very much I'm going to do my own thing. But he got quite an audience through that and was super big in an underground scene of folk music. His name's Todd Snyder. But he did have, and I'll say on my end, it's a bummer thing when I certainly could look inward and decide maybe I don't have enough talent to be at that level, and that's why I'm not there. Or maybe it's just luck, or who knows. But he has a very famous story, for example, that he tells, and it's called the LSD banana story. And it's a whole long story about this time that he took LSD, and he was in this situation. He had a show that night, and it's just this. And my point is, you could argue you could argue to me that I have stories that are very similar, craziness, and I can explain them in detail, and they have punchlines and they're funny. And I have had this recently where when I was talking to my buddy Tyler that I did a trip with, where it's like, I'm not a super confident person necessarily. I certainly have my insecurities. I certainly don't necessarily believe I should, for example, I don't necessarily think I should have 10 million followers on Instagram and the podcast per se. I think though I have enough crazy, stories and a way to tell them where I do have some confidence that if somehow I got in front of a larger audience,
you got to make them into YouTube or TikTok shorts.
I got to somehow, and
throw them up there with hashtags and shit.
That's what I need to start doing somehow, is finding a way. But like, I need to do those anyway. I feel
record a show. Upload it into an AI thing. It'll clip it into clips. It'll subtitle it for you.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I need to start doing.
Restream does it, Restream does it for you. Okay. You can pay like a little bit extra and it'll do AI clips of every show that you do. It'll automatically clip it into shorts.
Okay.
And then you can share it.
Because I do feel like I could sit on a stage and tell stories. I mean, and I think the life experiences are getting there, especially once you encounter the travel around the country, things like that. Yeah. But this guy's really, that's one of his big things, like this LSD banana. So he has other ones. And he's had definite issues with drugs and alcohol over the years. So there is an aspect of that to him. And recently, I wish I could Google it. I should have done this a little more. But he had a situation where he was supposed to do a show, and there's a kind of a confusion on whether he was assaulted and then gone to the hospital. So he showed up to a show, and the story is that he had been assaulted. Now no one has talked. God, I'm so sorry. I wish I would have looked.
Tom Snyder?
Yeah, Todd Snyder. I wonder if I could just find a general. Could you find just a general AI even description of like what happened with his death and what they're saying? Because people are, and he had some kind of an assault. He was at a hospital. It was rumors that he wasn't treated, and some of those were maybe due to the fact that they thought he was just a homeless dude, or they didn't really know who he was kind of belligerent, and they didn't treat him. He was sent away, and then a week later or so, he dies of like walking pneumonia. But there's
weird.
So much going on as far as, did the hospital actually treat him? Did the police actually, they kind of arrested him, or were going to arrest him or something? I wish I should have looked into this more.
It says,
God damn it. I should have done the other story because I didn't have this well enough prepared to get into this.
The Nashville musician's death comes days after stupid pop. Hold, please.
I wish I would have done the other story. My big chance here in front of the audience. And I go with a story I didn't know as well to talk about.
The Nashville musician's death suffered an alleged assault earlier in the month, but then the team suggested his health deteriorated. He returned home to recover last week. He had began having trouble breathing and was admitted to the hospital. Learned from his doctors that he had been quietly suffering from an undiagnosed case of so it sounds like,
so the big discrepancy comes out in Utah of like what happened this night. And
he canceled his tour after sustaining severe injuries from an assault outside of his hotel on November 3rd, ahead of his Salt Lake City show.
But the police have suggested they don't believe an assault actually happened and they were self-inflicted wounds. But like nobody in his camp have talked. Like, why hasn't his tour manager come out and said anything? Why didn't the story is he showed up at the show, said he'd been assaulted. They canceled the show, canceled the tour. And then like he goes to the hospital, and then there's like a discrepancy of what happens at the hospital and how he was treated. And the police have come out, and some people come out and said there wasn't even an assault and it was self-inflicted. And so there's been, literally, I wish I would have, I'm really frustrated with myself that I wish I would moved on. I wish I would not have done this topic because I didn't know enough about
It's
it.
okay. Hey, I've got an
Yeah,
article pulled up. It's okay.
yeah. Okay.
Jail records show Snyder was arrested by Salt Lake City police and booked into the Salt Lake County Jail at 7:10 p.m. on November 2nd. So that's the day before he allegedly gets assaulted. He gets
Yeah.
arrested.
Yeah.
He was charged with disorderly conduct, threat of violence, and suspicion of criminal trespassing. Snyder complained of head pain. He'd reportedly received staples during a hospital visit. Snyder told dispatch he was beaten up and robbed. He was taken by an ambulance for treatment.
And there's like body footage, like police footage out there where they're talking to him on a body cam or something too.
It says, according to an arrest affidavit, he was discharged by the hospital staff, but he didn't believe that he should have been released and started yelling and cursing at the staff. This caused public inconvenience and alarm among hospital employees and residents. He made verbal threats. So he looks like he got arrested because he was making a scene.
Yeah.
At
he'd had
the hospital.
Like I said, he'd been having some issues, and I mainly brought this up to you. It's just only because I felt like this was right in your wheelhouse of something that you would be interested in, even without.
Yeah, that's an interesting, weird fact, but like something was clearly going on with him.
Right. And so like I would tell you that if you certainly don't have to, but if you decided to after this and just go down the rabbit hole, I think you'll find there's a pretty decent rabbit hole, because there was a lot there was like the few days after the death on like social media, there was just in the comment sections of articles, just people really going back and forth on trying to figure out what actually happened to this person. And it just does not seem like there was a clear answer. And why weren't more people talking? Like I said, why hasn't his tour manager come out and said, dude, no, I saw him that night.
Right.
You know, he looked like, and so there's just a very weird,
interesting. I'll have to look into
story around it. All right. Well, let me think. How much time you got, Amy? 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, I can, yeah.
Let's do this. I'm gonna
tell your story. You can tell your story.
I'm gonna tell my story. I ran into somebody recently at the local grocery store, Amy, and I knew only because I have actually stayed in contact on social media with this person. But as it's very famous in the TDC era to talk about the Mandy story, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This girl I'd been obsessed with, I guess, or into, not obsessed with wouldn't be the word, but into, and I'd written these letters, and we actually famously called
stood outside her window with a boombox.
Of course. And famously, we did even, looking back on this, we called her mom, and she picked up on TDC.
Oh my God. Really?
Remember that? Yes. We called her mom.
I do remember TDC. That now that you mention it.
And she picked up. So ever since then, we've referred to any girl, because I started getting really paranoid and not liking that people would try to contact these people.
Right.
We would refer to any girl as like the blank Mandy, Croatian Mandy from back in the day. Yep. Any girl, what eventually became Lene was just Mandy.
Mandy. Yeah.
And so I'll just throw this under another Mandy name and not say who I'm talking about. But Amy, I wanted to recall this story because it's so obnoxious. I can't believe I did this. So post high school, I graduated high school, and now I decide I'm into some girl that's from cross country that's still in high school. Right. I'm into her, and it's so embarrassing to think back about this stuff when you look back on it. And Amy recalls that you want to tell me that.
Yeah, this was the girl you brought the gift basket with the candles, right?
For her birthday.
That
I had somebody.
I think this is the one we said you brought a gift basket and like a stereo and you were standing outside of her.
So when I look back on this story, and the reason it was recalled to me so recently is because I ran into her at Meijer, and I haven't seen her since whenever 2003 probably, I guess. But I have remained friends with her on social media, and actually she's married with kids now, and it's all fine. She lives out in the West Coast. She recently went to a very cool concert that I was jealous of, Cross Canadian Ragweed, this band that had been broken up for years and got back and had this massive concert. But I ran into her, and it brought up all this memory of this time in my life of incredible embarrassment, Amy, when you look back at it. You want to know some of the top 3 embarrassing moments from this series of events with this version of Mandy? Was one, let me tell you this, Amy. I did not have a cell phone yet. And I was calling her, believe it or not, on regular phones. At one point, calling after a shift from my Union Lake big boy job on the payphone, calling her house.
That's that's what we did back then. We
I
had
know,
to call the house.
but the problem is, like, not in school anymore. Technically, I know I'm recently out. I'm not really. It's the summer of, I guess, so I'm not really out. Not in the college yet. But so one of the more embarrassing stories that came out of this that I hadn't thought about in a long time was I was doing the thing, I guess, that you try to do. I think I'm not good at it, but when you're trying to get to know somebody, right? You're like, oh, what kind of music do you like, or this or that. I don't know if I ever told this story or not, but I found out that she was into Nickelback.
Oh boy.
Which I've since, by the way, like I'm still a fan of Nickelback.
Look at this photograph.
I still like Nickelback to this day. But but I don't think I ever told this story. But so I thought about this. I tried to, as a way to get an in, I called her up and I said, crazy, I have 2 tickets to the Nickelback concert at the Palace. Got an extra ticket. Asked her to go. Asked her if she'd want to go. And I believe she had to get back to me. I think.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't an outright no.
I'm not sure. She might have said no that day. I don't remember. I don't even remember. But when I was thinking back to this, I was talking to my friend about it because I was hanging out with a friend this last weekend. I was talking about it. I don't remember back then if I went and bought the tickets at like an outlet, you know what I mean? Or what?
Yeah.
But I told her I had the tickets and I had to still go because I couldn't just like keep talking to her and suggest I didn't go to the concert because I had an extra ticket, right? And I remember going through this with my parents, like, and telling my mom that I was going to this concert at the Palace, but I was going by myself. You got to remember, I listened to nothing but country music up until this point. Nothing but country music. Now, all of a sudden, I'm going to some rock show at the Palace by myself. And I just went. I went to a Nickelback concert by myself.
Oh my God.
With this extra ticket. And I just, it's something that I think back on, and it's like, how fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what a moron.
Yeah.
What did I think was going to happen?
Hey, you were shooting your shot, E.
And then the other thing that was kind of crazy out of that was, I remember, we had started to do the dumb videos, right?
The jackass
videos and stuff. And one of the things that we decided to do was I always liked getting dressed up. I liked getting in costume. I thought that was always fun. And so me and one of the guys, I pushed this idea of going into a retail store dressed as like golfers. Like I was going to be a golfer and they were going to be my caddy and I was going to be swinging fake shots in the store and hitting like a wiffle ball or whatever, you know what I mean? A little ball around the store. And he was going to be caddying for me. And I picked like the store that she worked at. I knew where she worked and I picked that store. And I swear to God, the thought process is that maybe she'll see this and think it's cool.
Oh my gosh, E.
And or impressed.
That's amazing. Wait, is this the person you ran into?
Yes.
Oh my God. Does she know she recognized you? Did you talk?
She came up to me and said something.
Wow.
And I don't know if I would have recognized her because we all get older. I mean, you gotta remember I haven't seen her in 23 years. Once someone told me, hey, this is so-and-so, then I would be like, yeah, duh, I can see that. But on sight of just someone saying, hey, Fady or whatever, you know.
Did she say anything to you like, hey, remember when you tried to you bought me a gift
no,
basket?
That didn't come up. That didn't come up. Which luckily in this point of my life, the one good thing is on social media, I look like at least okay. I've had this job on Mackinac Island for a few. She knows that. She sees photos. So she just asked me at the island and we talked a little bit about that. And we talked for a few minutes and about some stuff. But like it just more brought up this idea in my head. Like what the thought that I spent my entire high school, Amy, I went to 0 dances, not one dance. I didn't ask anybody out. I don't even remember in high school having like a crush. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not even kidding. I think I've talked about this before, but like I don't even remember. I remember in 8th, which weird but I know I was into that because I remember in 8th grade when I was at the private school, I was in this Lutheran school for first 8th grade. 7th and 1st, 8th grade, I was in a Lutheran school, right? I remember having like there was this one girl that I had a crush on, and I remember even like trying to we talked, and we did the same thing. We went to like a movie together one time or something, and it didn't really work out, whatever. But my point of the story is like, I was there. I was at that point in my life. Like I definitely liked girls. I was I'd had girls I had liked already in my life.
Yeah.
I don't remember any girl in my high school where I was like, oh, she's a cheerleader, but she's out of my league even or something. Like, I think I must have been so at a level like none of these girls would date me anyway, maybe.
Yeah. You
that
were
I just
very
didn't
awkward.
that I didn't even look at it like that.
Yeah.
So like I went 4 years never having like anyone I was like, and then all of a sudden I graduate. And now I've decided I'm gonna be like into some girl from cross country. And
That
it's
is
like
so funny.
it's so stupid. Like I look back on it and it's so dumb.
That's hilarious.
Having said that, you know what's funny that came out of that though is like I do still listen to Nickelback. Not that I'm the biggest Nickelback fan in the world, but I still listen to them and defend them. But another one of the bands that she like got me into was this band called Rancid, which is a Southern California, a punk band that came out of like SoCal, kind of like the Green Day area in that realm. And like I legit like that was in my transformation of getting into punk rock, which really happened because of the videos. I started to realize we couldn't go around and try to film these prank videos. And I was going to listen to Alan Jackson. I'm about to go like try to like, pee in a store or something, and I'm going to be like, oh, listening to Chattahoochee. So I started listening to fucking punk bands, and she got me into this Rancid, which I have now since seen, I think like 4 or 5 times live.
Oh my God, that's funny.
And like legitimately still listen to them all the time. And it's weird that even though like it was so ridiculous, I did find something out of it that I still to this day like am into and listen to, which is so bizarre. I would not have
funny.
Anyway, it was more just an embarrassing fucking thing. I saw her in real life and I was just thinking like, what a fucking moron I was.
Well, at least she doesn't hold it against you.
I wonder if I'd said something, what she would have said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think her mom was there next to her. Not that would have, man, sorry, I hit the camera. I'm not used to fucking being on camera as much anymore. I mean, we do it, but I wonder for real what would happen. If I and it just in a joking way, not like in a weird, like, hey, but like, hey, dude, isn't that crazy? Like, do you remember that?
You should message her and just be like, you know what I was thinking about after I ran into you?
See, that seems more like I'm trying to be a weirdo.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know. To me, it does.
I don't know. I would just to see if she remembered, but
I'd rather have had that in person. Yeah. Anyway, all right, Amy. Well, thank you, Amy, for letting me into this world over here, even though I use the same streaming platform.
Yeah. No, it was fun. Thank you for joining us over here, and maybe we can do it again. But join patreon.com/eventurecast.
And
go follow him on IG if you don't.
Even if you don't, I understand. I've always understood that people couldn't be into that stuff. Still feel free to go check out my Instagram. I'm getting more active on my Instagram because with my trip coming up, I really want to do better about having a presence on my Instagram. And Eve, again, just you can, if you want to go to my own Facebook page and share that I do a show or let people know it's out there, that's good enough too. You don't have to necessarily become a Patreon member, although I certainly would appreciate that as well. All right,
Thanks,
Amy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.